movie fans, welcome to Cold and Trash Horror Movie Grind, the podcast. I am your host, Ian. This is the show in which we grind on the absolute worst horror and sci-fi movies we can find and make fun of just how bad they are, as well as praise the good, cool classics that have been lost throughout time. Now get ready, because we're about to dive real deep inside of Hollywood's dumpster in search of the good, the so bad it's good, and the fucking ugly. Now put on your seatbelt, grab a beer or two, and enjoy the show. Swamp Zombies 2. What's up, everybody? This is Cold and Trash Horror Movie Grind, and I'm Ian. And so first of all, apology. Last time I said that we were going to do Killing of Satan first or next, and that didn't end up turning out. But now we're doing Swamp Zombies 2, which is, I'd say, probably just as good or just as bad. This will be fun. So it is called Swamp Zombies 2. Not even sure if there's Swamp Zombies 1. We're just going straight to the first one. And it's directed by Lynn Kabanovsky in 2018. And it's a mess. But We've got some friends here joining me once again. Daniel's back. What's up, Daniel?
Hey, not too much. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I've had a great day.
That's good. Awesome. All right. Well, what was so good about it?
I think the best part of my day was realizing that in my job that when I am covered in sludge, I don't turn into a giant mutant freak.
You sure? Oh, sorry. Awesome, man. Cool. We'll just leave that as vague as possible.
As vague as possible, please.
Yeah, coming back, introducing another guest to the show. This guy right here. What's up, John?
Oh, hey, how you doing? Shit,
pretty good.
Namaste, bitches. How are you? It's been a minute.
Well, actually, it's the first time for you on this show. But
I guess I was referring to your old show. But yeah. Indeed, and good to be back. Yeah, we're gonna send it tonight.
Yeah. So like we were just saying, Johnny and Daniel, they both made lots of appearances on my old podcast, and I've made a lot of appearances on your podcast. I don't give a flick.
You have. I don't give a flick. Streaming on every podcast site, including Spotify and Apple, where we take a kind of just a deep dive into the theories of film and the behind the scenes, kind of basically what they don't show you on Entertainment Tonight or from the actual documentaries on the movies. So it's really good.
They don't talk as much shit as you guys do.
Tonight. No, I mean, hey, I have to say, though, if you can't handle the truth, then this show is not for you. So, if you can't handle the truth, don't watch I Don't Give a Flick on every podcast site known to man.
Yeah, but you could go ahead and check out my other podcast. That's all right. I give a flick.
You're old. On another show way back in the day, you had a co-host, Ryan, who would always tell me he was going to start a podcast called
I definitely stole that joke from him. That was his joke, but he's not here, right. So I
never did
gotten away with it. But
that's right. Fuck him.
So I've been on like half your episodes on I Don't Give a Flick.
Close to half. I'd say third. Yeah, a third. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
You've been on it. I actually, on this trip that I've been on here, I've been taking a lap around the country in my car, seeing family and friends for the last 4 months, and I've actually listened to all of my podcasts, almost all of yours on your old show, and then also the majority of Having a Beer with Ian. So.
Yeah,
I'm almost done.
I haven't repped that podcast yet on this show. I haven't yet another podcast. It's called Having a Beer with Ian. It's me getting drunk with a bunch of other people named Ian, and We talk shit.
touching each other inappropriately. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know we were live. My bad. We're recording? Oh,
yeah. Well, anyway, we have yet another guest, so I'll go ahead and bring her in. But before I do, I forgot to ask you guys, what did you all think of this movie? This is both of y'all's first time seeing this movie, right?
I'd like to let Johnny go first as the newest member of joining this podcast.
Sure, yeah, and I thank you, Daniel, for that wonderful introduction. Ian's wasn't quite as good, so take some notes there, host. No, just kidding, everybody. He's trying to lighten the mood around here. It was certainly a movie that I spent an hour and change watching. Yeah. I certainly will save all of my in-depth analysis for later on the line. It was definitely not the worst movie so bad it's good that we've ever reviewed on any of your shows. So that was a positive. It was entertaining, to say the least. I'll get in a little bit more to it here later on. But I didn't regret watching parts of it. Is that a polite way of putting that it was a piece of shit?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Actually,
good. Yeah.
And,
okay. Daniel,
how about you?
I would like to say that my review is a little better, and it is. I've got two major points to make up here. The first is not so nice. If you want to see boobs in the first 5 seconds and you don't like turkeys, I would say watch this, not Thanksgiving. However,
fair enough.
However, I will put it out there that out of the newest zombie movies that I've seen, and I mean the last 5 years, I would have to say that this is not the most craptacular movie that has been on my list. And this includes high-budget movies. I was extremely upset with Army of the Dead. I thought it was really sad and not fun to watch. And I couldn't make it through because they wanted to make it into some sort of like Fast and the Furious style movie instead of being a zombie movie. This one actually started out as a zombie movie and kept it through the whole thing.
Yeah.
So for all the things that are wrong with this movie, it kind of kept its shit together. Which is impressive.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. It's got probably a better premise than a lot of other zombie movies I've seen. But yeah, anyway, we'll stop wasting time. Like I said, we've got one more guest. And the reason why I've had her waiting is because she's actually in the movie. Jenna, what's up?
Hello.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing?
I'm pretty good today. It was I was wondering when someone would bring up Army of the Dead, and that was pretty quick.
Nice.
Not even 5 minutes in.
Wow.
So you introduced me to this movie, and by the way of doing that, by saying, "Hey, I was in a movie. It's called Swamp Zombies 2." So, Daniel and Johnny, do you recognize her in the movie from the movie? Like, with I guess seeing her now, like, are you like, oh, it's that person?
Yeah.
Yes and no, in a way.
Oh, okay.
We had questions. I watched this with my wife, and we had questions about the character you were portraying and whether or not there was some sort of direction as to were you trying to play to a stereotype of some type of person or not. So we'll let that unfold as we talk about the movie today as well.
I wish I could show you guys the special features right now because many a joke was made.
Oh my God! Send me the link, please, in our group, because I will totally watch the shit out of that when we're done with this recording.
Thanks for joining. Welcome on board. And so I guess for the audience, who did you play in this movie?
So my character was never actually mentioned in the film, but my name in the movie, like on the script, is Pam. Pam.
That's such a generic, boring name. By the way. That's like the name of somebody's stepmom.
I mean, that's like not inaccurate to the character, though.
I'm just somebody's stepmom. Out of all the examples you could have given.
Mom.
But yeah, I love what you did with your eyes. Yeah, that's the entire movie right there.
It hurt. I don't know why, but because like I heard and I thought this is how much of a non-actor I am, by the way. I had never acted before this movie, but I had heard that what's his name from Silence of the Lambs? I told you I'd do this.
Anthony Hopkins.
One's name. Yeah, Anthony Hopkins from Silence of the Lambs. To make himself creepier, he never blinked, and I was like, "That's so cool! I want to do that." But what happens when I try not to blink is my eyes just get really big. And then people were like, "Oh, that looks really weird and creepy." And I'm like, "All right, I'm doing that for the whole movie."
It was not the least convincing thing about the movie, for like even by a long shot.
I would say it was the best.
I want to give you a lot of credit here. You were above average in this movie. For sure.
Yeah, in fact, like the movie was just getting really boring. I mean, it was already boring, but like after I was just like, ugh. And then all of a sudden, here comes Jenna, my friend on Facebook, just shows up like all intense and just hilarious. I was laughing like all the way through, but basically, and especially, I mean, I'm going to cut straight to the end. Where so you get attacked by zombies, and that sequence just took too long. It was just being eaten for like 5 minutes straight, nonstop, just one single shot. And then so we're like, okay, Pam's dead. And then like the main guy, he's going through fighting all these other zombies, and then there's like a level boss, and then it's you, and then it's like, oh shit, it's about to go down, and so I mean you're a experienced fighter too, like in martial arts and stuff. So
okay,
is that why you were chosen for the movie, or because there's a scene where like y'all like have a fight scene, and it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, so I was just I had one of my friends who I used to do Muay Thai with, he was doing a fight choreography thing, one-on-one kind of session, and I was like, "Oh, let me try that out. That sounds fun." And so I recorded myself doing a fight choreography, and Len saw it. And he liked it so much that he was like, "Hey, you should try out for the part of Pam." And so I was like, "All right, let me just send some stuff that I've done before," which was one voiceover thing I did once for a bottle of wine for my friend and a jar of peanut butter, I believe. And I was like, "This is my reel. This is what I have done." And
that's fair.
There you go. Got the part.
All right. History. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. So what made that scene even better? Like, so it was like, oh shit, you're back from the dead, and you gotta fight this guy. But the makeup and effects were so bad that like it showed you like trying to like you were on the ground. I guess your back was broken. You were like trying to like do this like weird sideways crawl, but it just looked terrible. not like your fault at all, but it was just like if this movie had a big budget, that would have been really cool, but it didn't, so it wasn't. But you also had another role in this movie. I guess why don't you go ahead and say what it was?
A role?
Yeah, behind the scenes.
Oh yeah. I actually did a lot of the composing for the music. So when you look me up on on Google, it says Jenna M Fryer, actress and composer. I'm like, ooh. And I had never made any music before that as well, by the way.
What? This is
pretty good enough.
You're not.
Did you purchase
Never been a
Casio
composer.
keyboard
Never
for
been
it,
an
though?
never been an actor before. Just very reassuring.
I'm not done
for,
yet because there's one other thing I never did that I did for this movie.
This makes me want to watch the film even more.
Which was the opening credits.
Oh, the opening credits. I saw you in lighting, I'm pretty sure, too.
What?
But it's kind of hard because I have all the notes down
light
between
technician. I held some lights sometimes.
Composer, lead actress, and key grip. All right, perfect.
But my favorite thing I definitely did was was the opening credits.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. I got that. I brought up the wrong thing, unfortunately. I got it right here actually.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah. So you did that music right there that we're hearing.
No, that was
okay.
That was a free. I don't know how to do instruments like that.
Truth be told, all of those graphics towards the beginning that we're showing right now were one of my favorite things of the movie. So kudos to you for learning how to do it on a fly.
I guess you can say it's kind of a comic book kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like Sin City in a way.
Very Scanner Darkly a little bit. Yeah, Sin City style.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that part right there is funny. Like, hold on. Yeah, right where you come in is you, and it says Newt Wallen. Or Justin Skyler Daniels. Okay.
There it is. This is where we found out that secretly Jenna did not want to have her name attached to this at all. Trying to distance herself as much as possible.
Last second, we'll cut away.
I was like, this is going to ruin my acting career for sure. So
no one's ever going to hire me for a wine voiceover ever again.
Apparently it didn't because you did do some more work after that.
I did a lot of work after that now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, all with Len Kabaczynski. He just keeps rehiring me, and I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those. Actually, you're working on a film right now with them, right?
Yep, Pact of Vengeance.
Yeah, what's that about?
It is that's snark. It is about Hold on, sorry, I'm doing that.
You're like, what violates the terms of my NDA?
I'm trying to, I guess, like a group of people who are trying to take revenge on someone who is my character. My character gets her throat slit by a group, a gang called the Black Roses, and now they have to get back to the Black Roses for slitting my throat. So
okay, that sounds cool. Actually,
yeah.
Damn. All right.
So all right, that was a pretty neat introduction. Again, welcome to the show, you and Johnny. So Johnny, your podcast, I Don't Give a Flick. So we already mentioned it earlier. You talk about a lot of, or sometimes we talk about a lot of movies more like in depth. You know, we kind of, I guess, pick apart these movies.
Sure.
Mostly much better movies, more classics and just more Hollywood films. So as somebody who's like, you're kind of a critic of in your own. So what was going through your head when watching this movie?
I mean, when I try to go into these types of films, I certainly give myself a different mindset when going in for something like this, knowing that the budget's going to be significantly smaller than even an indie film that I might catch on the circuit or at a festival. Sure. You know, there's a level, you know, there's a ceiling that a lot of these movies can hit. So I certainly have a much lower one when it comes to movies like this. I mean, yeah, you know, I liked the idea. It's kind of a poor man's version of Halloween Resurrection, or kind of like a Cabin in the Woods style feel with the reality show. So yeah. So I mean, it's not identical, but it does seem to have aspects of it. So I like the idea of that. Personally, I had kind of gotten over the whole zombie phase after the early 2010s. So I kind of, it
sure.
just kind of like superhero movies. You kind of like,
I was way before that.
Yeah. So I'll still see them. It's certainly, to not take up too much time, because I'll spread it out over the course of the hour and a half here.
Okay.
But I definitely thought there were parts that were kind of putting me to sleep. They kind of just drew on, and there wasn't really much happening. But there were other parts that were fucking hilarious that I thought were funny. You know me, man. I mean, Ian, you know me. I always talk about it on my show and on yours. I love world building. I love seeing the background. I love seeing origin stories. So while I thought they should have done a much better job with setting the stage and letting us kind of know what we should expect with the film, I still did enjoy like the little quirky commercials they had, and the fact
that was fun.
Yeah, and the fact that I would have liked to seen a little bit more of the world around them. But then again, it's a low budget zombie film, so you have to go in with lower expectations for sure.
Yeah. For sure. Especially when it comes to the makeup.
Yeah.
Way.
How deep do you want me to go? Do you want me to give? I can.
Well,
I don't know what you're saving.
Yeah. We could just come back to it.
Yeah. We'll come back. So yeah, that's my general. My general overview of the entire thing. It had fun moments. I definitely think they could have added a lot more to make it even more entertaining. Raising the stakes, especially in a film like this when you have such a low budget, it's necessary. It's imperative that you do that so it gets the audience invested somehow. I mean, most of these characters, I'm not gonna lie, all of them, there wasn't much stake in the game for me. They were just
very 2D.
NPCs, they're just
NPCs,
non-player characters. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, they were all one-dimensional, and I mean that's obviously due to the genre. You can only blame so much on that. A lot of it's also just the writing of the script. But I didn't. Out of all the movies we've ever reviewed, I didn't regret watching the majority of it. So,
all
right. I'm trying to be as polite as I can.
Here is it, Johnny. I don't give a fuck.
Hey man, I'm certainly I'm a hater until I'm not. What can I say?
Yeah, that's true.
That's fair though. That was a fair assessment.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What I like about it is that it doesn't take itself seriously. This is a movie that very well knows what it is, and while at the same time not being too self-aware.
Yeah. I feel like you can still do a good balance of that though, like not taking itself too seriously, but still investing everybody enough to where they care about people dying, they care about the outcome. Because even in silly, goofy comedy, and I know it's low budget, but keep going anyways. You know me, I'll talk all day.
I mean, I think this budget as well as the script were probably the biggest problems of this movie.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I totally agree.
I've had definitely not like World War Z or anything that high, but like something like just a higher low budget film with probably just a better filmmaker and script.
Well, don't you think, with really quick to your point, don't you think like even with like a movie like Miami Connection, or we talk about the Cadillac films, or even The Room or something like that, do you feel with those films that they still did a decent job of at least attempting to tie the audience to certain characters to care about the outcome of what happened to them? Yeah.
Well,
I didn't see any
maybe not The Room. But
I think there was an attempt
for sure.
But, yeah.
But like Samurai Cop and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Samurai Cop. Yeah, same thing. Like they're goofy, but you still feel horrible, and you want to see more of these particular characters or what happens next. And then when it doesn't, you're just like, oh well, that fucking sucked. But in this one, I didn't really feel like that. I was like,
not the case at all. Like I said, when Jenna's character was being mauled and taken apart by zombies, it just took too long. I was like, hurry up and die finally.
Die, Jenna! Die! No.
How do you think I felt? I was like in spider webs and shit. Spiders are crawling down my back. I'm like, can we stop?
Can I ask you how many takes did they do on that scene? Like, how long did you have to lay there? Oh, okay.
The camera was rolling.
One for everything. That's it.
One for
nobody did a second take on anything.
You're thanking God on that one. I hear. I'm sure you. I'm sure of that.
All right. Well, let me get one of y'all to anybody who wants to do this. Just say what the plot is to this movie in one sentence.
Oh, I want to do that. I got a couple. Can I have 2 seconds for notes?
Go ahead.
All right. I'd like to say that this movie wanted to rip off a lot of major motion pictures without making it too blatant. So, in one sentence, I would say that this was a reality TV show gone wrong, in which the captors of the people in the reality TV show decided that they would take care of their own project by bringing in more people that they couldn't handle, and failed.
All right, cool.
Right on.
Yeah, basically. I would say it's what's it called? I'm blanking on the name of the movie. Damn it! I was thinking about this the entire time, and well, this isn't professional at all.
Describe the movie. Name some of the actors in it.
That's okay. Don't worry. We'll do a second take.
I'm gonna look this up, and I will feel silly when I find out. God damn it! A Schwarzenegger movie from the 80s.
Marathon? Not Marathon Man. Running Man. Running Man?
Running Man.
Running
Man. It is Running Man with zombies.
Throughout. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's a good.
Yeah, so
I think that's how the writer pitched it to Len. To be quite honest with you, yeah,
really,
because it definitely had the entire vibe of it. Especially like bringing in a guy who didn't want to be part of it. So yeah, that's what it is. So the main actor is actually the director. How do you pronounce his name, Jenna?
Len Kabaczynski.
Got it. I totally butchered it when I first started this thing.
But wait, besides playing Jean-Claude Van Damme in this movie, wasn't he also the I have it written down here. He was the executive producer, director, and star of it. In addition to the fact that he had other roles that he gave himself in different districts of doing it, such as talent coordinator and I don't know. I counted 6 different roles that he had in this movie. Am I missing any of them?
I mean, you're probably right. Usually he's also the writer as well, and this is the
yes, he was the associate. He was an additional writer or something like that.
Yeah, and I will
writer
get to that
or writer editor or something like that.
Yeah,
for a few of the scenes.
Okay, yeah. So he's the main actor, and so he also comes. It's like a Escape from New York kind of thing with like Snake Plissken. He's just like brought in there he has a mission and pretty much he's a hacker that's trying to. I don't get it. So it's a reality show that puts people in with zombies, and somehow somebody's trying to show how corrupt they are. I mean, it's pretty like self-explanatory. like that's I guess my big problem with it. Like what is the hacker trying to show to the world?
I was confused by that myself.
Yeah.
I have a small answer for this because I tried to diagnose what the movie was actually about. And Mouse herself said one of the lines in it that she was just there to be doing an expose similar to how PETA, which in this role was Pets, People Against the Ethical Treatment of Zombies, or something people for the ethical treatment of zombies. I'm not sure exactly what it is.
Yeah,
but,
there was a commercial in there about like having zombies as pet, or not as pets, but like
bathing a zombie. It was the bath. Yeah, the bath.
Yeah.
One, right? Or they're
So
bathing the
he
zombies
went
at
in there
dinner.
to do some sort of like human rights expose and ended up finding out that the production guy, I'm not gonna remember his name. The guy who had the giant needle up at the end and was just
Mr.
laughing.
Lobo.
Mr.
Yeah,
Lobo.
Mr.
That guy's
Lobo
great.
turned out was
funny.
actually selling this genetic altercation that he made to his serum that was making zombies worse and more weaponized. He was selling it to terrorist organizations.
That's right.
So that's what Mouse ended up doing inside of this movie, was like, she wasn't out there to do this ethical treatment anymore. She was out there to expose a terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
So the plot was actually coherent, which I was surprised by, especially considering the lack of plot at the end, because they just left it open-ended for Swamp Zombies 3 and or 5.
Which, by the way, Jenna, have you seen the first Swamp Zombies?
Yeah,
does that even exist?
First one?
I did. My eyeballs were watching it and my ears were listening, but I cannot tell you anything about it.
Oh, so it's not a Troll 2. It's not a Troll 2 instance.
Ago.
That's good that it's not Troll 2 instance. There's actually a first one.
Yeah, no, there is a first one. And that was by Len Kabasinski and written by him, directed by him, produced by him. And then the writer Newt, actually, who's in the movie as well, he pitched the movie, the Swamp Zombies 2, to him, and Len liked it so much he's like, fuck it, let's do it.
So I have to ask this Lynn gentleman, does he have a underground following of some kind? Because it sounds like he's been putting out movies at a fairly frequent pace over the last couple of years.
Yeah, he does. He got a lot of popularity because Red Letter Media reviewed his movies on Best of the Worst, and he's actually in some episodes of Red Letter Media as well.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so people started noticing him, and he has he had I think he had a following before then, but it's probably grown since then.
Poor man's Neil Breen. Gotcha.
Yeah.
He is, not so much in this movie, but I saw another movie that, Jenny, you were in. I forgot the name of it, but it's the one where you're, not the prison one, but the other one.
Why am I forgetting? Hellcats 2, which is another 2 movie.
Oh, yeah.
These damn sequels.
Challenge of the 5 Gauntlets.
That's the one. Yeah, that is a very Breen-esque movie.
Yeah,
because like a good, you could say 30 minutes is him walking by himself in the woods, which is much like Neil Breen. And
they should have an act off, Len and Neil
Breen. God, throw Tommy Wiseau and YK Kim in there, and you got yourself one hell of a party.
Yeah. Which actually brings up a question I was going to ask you. What is it with? Do you think it is with filmmakers who do everything? They write the script, they film it, they direct it, they produce it, they star in it. Like, what is it about these people that like? Is just, they're just usually, not all the time, but most times, just awful.
Inexperience or budget are normally the two things.
Yeah, but like, for a lot of these people, the script is just like nonsensical, and
right.
I think it's just that they want to make a movie, and that's it. They just want to make a fucking movie. And so
put that kind of time in.
Yeah, and then you just put as much time in as you want, and you just do it. I think like from my experience working with Len and working in like these, lower budget movies and stuff, it's kind of like a hobbyist thing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for
Like,
sure.
yeah,
Sure,
like
sure.
he's not. That's not his primary source of income. Is like
Okay.
the
Is
movie
a big-time
is Swamp
Hollywood
Zombies
director.
2. Yeah,
Yeah, like Neil Breen is actually an architect, or it
Yeah.
was.
yeah,
Or was, at
yeah. He
least.
was.
But
His
that just goes
fuck-around
back.
money. And
That
Tommy
just goes back to
Wiseau
the
does
same
whatever
thing.
he does.
Mhm.
We don't talk about that.
But the thing about these people, I can't speak for Lynn, but definitely Neil Breen and at Tommy Wiseau at first, and I guess YK Kim as well, is that they have no self awareness. I mean, Tommy kind of does now. He still doesn't
He had
quite
to learn
get
it.
it, but
Len's
like they make these terrible movies, and then they're like, yes, this is good.
Len's
Yeah.
interesting in that he I'd say he's very self-aware, especially for that. He wants Neil Breen in a movie. He watches Neil Breen movies.
Oh, really?
Those are like his favorite movies.
Does he?
He watches The Room. Yeah. He
So
watches
he's
these bad
intentionally trying to
movies.
make these bad movies. Then.
Yes and
Is
no.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I think that because he likes those types of movies, it allows him to play around with different movies, and he's just like bump 5 days,
Okay.
like it's like 2 weeks all in all to make a movie. You know what I mean? Like, or less.
Right.
So I think it's like he's allowed to kind of make the mistakes and make like these weird things, and then he's like, all right, so for next time I'll do this and this and this. How much that works, I don't know, but
Okay.
I would like to go ahead and give Ken some credit for completing the movies that he starts. There's a lot of people out there that have that similar idea and they can't do it.
Yeah, and I
So
think that's the biggest
if
thing.
he pushes it out, it doesn't matter if it's too early. He got it done.
Yeah, exactly.
And he still gets the budget to do his next movie. You know, that's impressive in its own way. Like when you don't have the money coming in, but you still manage to make the movie going out. I'm actually consistently impressed by that, especially when you pick and choose the right kind of effects for it, which I think this movie did. The lack of studio effects added in post was notable. It was a lot of physical effects. They the soundboard was unfortunate, but besides those effects, that sounded like they were from Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat back on the I would say that the actual fighting, which thank you, Jenna, for providing some actual fighting in the movie.
Yeah, that was
and
nice.
The physical effects provided by the special effects artists that actually did some of the makeup, which while the standalone makeup was sad, I thought that the momentary like fun gag or gore scenes were really fun. And I actually gotta give Ken some credit here. He made a watchable movie as opposed to many of the high budget unwatchable movies that don't have anything going for them.
Yeah,
but make you hate everybody in it. I didn't like any of the characters in it, unfortunately. Jenna, not excusing Pam, who was one of the more entrancing characters in it, just because I didn't know what the hell she was doing the whole movie. But
I just show up.
You don't need a likable character to make an okay movie, and he made an okay movie. And I'm really impressed by that on a low budget, beating out all of these blockbusters that sucked in recent times. Zombie blockbusters have been bad for a number of years.
They absolutely have. And like I was saying, the premise is really cool. Even though it's like ripped off from a bunch of other movies that do the same thing. But I'm surprised nobody's done that before. You know?
I mean, he essentially, he took the same two I mentioned earlier with Cabin in the Woods and Halloween Resurrection. He just took it and then replaced it with a zombie apocalypse as opposed to...
Which, I'm surprised that it took until
Michael Myers.
2018 to do that with zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had to be made.
The world must know.
The world's gotta know.
Yeah, let's go on to
It's eye-opening.
Our next segment, which is discussing what makes this movie good and what makes it bad. Because this is very clearly, we could all agree, so bad is good. and it is bad for a number of reasons, and it is good for a number of reasons. And I'll start with one thing: is I really love the colors that are presented in this. I've talked to Johnny about this on his podcast many times about a lot of movies I like. Is the I'm really into colors and visual effects, and like that they did a pretty good job with this. Like there's a bunch of scenes where there's just these really bright, obscene colors as like a red or blue or green for like no reason. But I'm just like, yeah, this is cool. It helps me like realize, like remember, this is just a fun, shitty movie. They did that with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which I really enjoyed.
Oh, one of my favorites.
And yeah, like Hobo with a Shotgun. So it kind of reminded me of those movies. So
Hobo with a Shotgun
kind of,
was on another level.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For
Color,
sure.
no, color palette wise. I mean, and to your point with that, I mean, I just like you. I mean, I think you appreciate color palettes a little bit more than I do. But I do love looking for it when it comes up. My problem with the color palette in this one, I'll tell you, was I don't know who was their, I don't know who your artistic director or the production designer was. But the colors just
was anyone.
They were okay. So that makes sense then,
your face.
because it literally was all over the place. And while I did like the colors, you know, I mean, I thought Mr. Lobo, his suit, those colors in general, I thought those were super fun. And I would sport a suit like that just to fuck with people and just for
like
if
I go to a party or something. Yeah.
Oh, I just want to say Mr. Lobo dresses like that all the time. That's Mr. Lobo for it. Like he just plays himself in the movie.
So he showed up on set with that suit.
He's a horror show host. So
okay.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What's the name of the show?
But
Mr. Lobo Cinema.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Lobo.
So wait, so he played like that. Is that the name of his character, Mr. Lobo?
I'm pretty sure that's the name of his character. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So he basically played himself.
Yeah. He's like a local kind of celebrity.
See, now I like the movie even more now.
Nice.
Yeah,
now that we have the background info.
We get Mr. Lobo on to host the worst movie that we can possibly find.
Hang on, sorry. So to wrap my thought up here, was the problem. My problem with it was the fact that it was all over the place. And usually, when you look at a color palette for a film, there are colors that go ahead and show you who a distinct character is. They typically have some symbolic meaning behind them. You know, I mean, I'll go back and bring up an easy one with Sixth Sense. When you see red, that's impending doom. Anytime that pops up. When you see a yellow, it's this is supposed to be a happy or joyful scene, or the scene following this will be this feeling that's connected to it. And I just kind of feel like this one had a bunch of colors in there for the sake of having colors in there, and that really bugged me a lot. I thought that was a little lazy. But now that you said they just kind of randomly, everybody was kind of throwing their hat in the ring for it, I guess. I mean, that bends a little bit for me, but that was actually one of my least favorite parts.
Absolutely. I mean, you're absolutely correct with that. One movie that I really love that came out this year, actually, called Arch Enemy. Not very well known. It's the same production company that did Mandy. There actually, Spectre.
Was that a Nicolas Cage one too?
No, he's not in it. Actually, he was supposed to be, but he wasn't in it.
No.
So
Mandy's got a great color palette.
Mandy has a fantastic.
That's Spectre Vision, the production company, which is actually owned by Elijah Wood. The Spectre Vision, all the films that they produce have amazing, very bright visual colors. And Arch Enemy is really great. You reminded me, Johnny, because in this movie, there's two characters, brother and sister, that are so opposite from each other. One lives in a world of fantasy. The other lives in the streets. She's a drug dealer. And the one who's in a fantasy, he dresses in very bright orange. Orange and red and yellow. And then the one who's more serious in the streets is all straight blue. And so there's a scene where they're arguing and they're in their apartment and they're divided. They're in two different sides of the room, the brother who's all orange, he's on the blue side of the room, and the sister who's in all blue, she's on an orange side of the room. So it's like a yin yang. It's like they're together, but they're complete but opposite. So I don't know. I'm totally changing the subject, but you just reminded me of something that I just really love.
You're talking about a good movie with a bad movie. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The juxtaposition there.
But yeah, this movie, I completely agree with you. It's all over the place. But like, also, it's a fun mess. That's what I like about
Sure.
it. You know?
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, it reminds me of that I'm just watching and enjoying just a shitty movie.
Jenna, do you by chance for the color palette issue, do you know what they shot on? Like what type of camera they were using?
If only Scott was here, because he was also the DP. And
shout out to this guy.
I love the cinematography. That is one thing I will give this film. I actually, for a zombie movie, especially on that low of a budget, kudos to Scott. I will give him that.
He's a wedding photographer, and he has like a whole bunch of stuff. So he had a drone, and that's what he was called up to do, was just to do the drone shot. And then Len hired him on the spot. So him and I were kind of like, awesome. I don't know what's going on. What's happening?
and he was supposed to be on this show. Unfortunately, he had to drop out at the last minute. But that is unfortunate, because I definitely wanted to hear some more stories. But
and he would know all that. I can kind of tell you some stuff he had. It's going to be not technical at all. But I remember he mainly used like this thing, and it would he could rotate it, but it would stay exactly where it was.
Ronin gimbal. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Those are so much. They're so much fun to shoot on.
Yeah, and he basically used that. I mean, I'm sure that wasn't the camera, but there's a camera in there, and then he would use that, and then the drone, and then other stuff. I know that Len used his camera as well for a bunch of shots.
Oh, okay. Well, the reason that I asked what it was shot on is a lot of the newer cameras today. I mean, even ones as small as like the what is it, the Fuji or Fiji line? They make particularly they make a lot of colors kind of saturated, and they make them pop really well. So that's what to Ian's point with the color palette. I think I was wondering if that was intentionally done in post, or they just happened to shoot like that and it was a happy accident that it happened. But anyways, yeah,
I'm sure it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Yeah.
I know that Scott's main thing was just to make the movie entertaining. You know, so and I'll get into behind the scenes.
Pretty good job.
I'll kind of plot twist you guys.
I was gonna actually I was gonna ask you to do that next, but before we do, let's keep on talking about this current topic. Daniel, how about you? What about this movie? What parts did you enjoy?
I actually really enjoyed the most of this, seeing the things that I like in a bad movie, which is that I like to see a departure from people using digital effects into practical effects that are cheaper but a lot more fun. So when Logan Jr.'s face got ripped off, I really enjoyed his little...
Oh, yeah, that was hilarious. that was so...
face thing that happened.
So bad, but so good.
Yeah, it was a really good one. And the fact is that when you have a high budget film, you want to do a tearing action. You want to rip off a portion of a face. You want to do things. Don't do it like it's a big sleeve, like you're taking off your socks after a hard day at work. And I love that old school zombie effect that's been in so many films. I mean, it is in Dead and Alive, and I think Night of the Living Dead 2, that they did the same effect with that little Q-tip style head, gross ass sort of thing. There's a lot of things that I liked about this film based on the fact that it was not supposed to be a good movie. And I appreciate that Tubi classified it as horror comedy, because I feel like there was enough elements in there that they didn't necessarily they tried for some comedy elements in it, but I think that overall the effect was much more comedic for the things that they didn't intend. And I found the small details really good. There was a scene in which Ken's character was meditating after taking his shirt off of the water, and there was a stuffed alligator of some type, or some sort of rubber alligator just in the water right next to him. And I did one of these like, what the hell was that moments where I'm just like, and you can't possibly have that just sitting in the water next to it. And I was like, you're not really meant to get a whole lot out of that other than just like, this is a fun movie. We're not going to try very hard. We have to put this thing in here. It's going to be a personal joke to the crew, or it's, you know, a certain type of thing. And when I watched the credits, just to get an idea of who did what in the movie, I couldn't help but notice that Jenna had 4 roles, and Scott had 6, and Ken had like 12 plus. Ken had to thank his mom, which is sweet in a way, but also whose couch did he sleep on in between scenes, and who played, like, there was just like all these little fun things from this small scale cinema, and they still made a better movie than high budget films that came out in the last 5 years. So I just the whole Killer Wolf thing, whatever set of movies that is, like, I'm in. I'm gonna watch them.
Right.
I've got to see what else comes up
we
with
have a
it.
fan.
Hey,
I was a fan, but I gotta say I did save a large number of questions for both you and Scott just to find out what the hell was going on. Can I use this for just a quick aside, Ian? Because I've really got to know, Jenna.
I might be able
You got
to answer.
murdered in this film. How did you keep your boobs inside of your outfit? You're the only person who managed to do it in the whole film.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
How did you keep them contained? Apparently, it was a big deal.
Because if someone said, "Do you want to show your boobs in this film?" I would have been like, "No."
Oh, okay.
Not in this film.
Actors, I didn't know whether it was a director's choice or actress choice.
And actually, there's supposed to be more topless people.
How?
Yeah, well, you know, we got to draw people somehow.
yeah. But like Daniel said at the very, like, literally, for anybody who hasn't seen this, which I don't know where you're watching this, go stop this and watch it and then come back. What are you doing? Anyway, yeah, literally the very first 5 seconds, there's just full like frontal nudity. It's like, okay, yeah, I expect that. I'm not surprised. And then there's like a very weird random 3-second long sex scene with the girl who's they're like in the middle of the like woods.
It didn't even look like his pants were unzipped.
Yeah, yeah, she was pretty much just she was completely naked. And
yeah, that was like, dry humping. They were dry humping. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just like another part that's like, okay, yeah.
Every zombie movie needs it, though. Let's admit it.
Fucking terrible, hilarious. And then there was just like random
dry humping. All right, fine.
I
go with Jenny's idea of zombie movies.
Yeah. What else? Are there any like particular scenes or parts that stick out? Anything? Just
absolutely. My favorite scene is at the end. The big cliffhanger. Spoiler alert. I really love Mr. Lobo with his giant ass syringe just laughing at the camera for way too long for a scene that doesn't go anywhere. A syringe full of, I don't know, just laughing. That was great.
Then,
I like it because he's very convincing. He was a fun character.
It was
not always well acted, but very believable, and he was happy. Another scene that stuck out to me was the one that Jonny just mentioned, which was the uninterested dry humping in the middle of the woods. That's
That's kind of what that scene was in the script too.
Really?
Uninterested dry humping.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he's supposed to be a spoiled brat, right?
Yeah.
Logan Jr. I did like Logan Sr. also in his commercial. I thought that was great, and I'm sorry I can't bother Scott about it right now, but I thought he did a great job as Logan Sr. in his
right. Scott was in it.
commercial.
Oh, really?
Oh, was he?
He's the guy in the car commercial.
I love that. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's the redneck guy who's just like, come on down.
That's Logan's dad. That's how Logan got his fortune, through a used car salesman.
And he killed it too. He was like, "Oh, how do you like
good.
this segment?" I'm like, "Oh, that fucking rules, dude."
that was good. Yeah, I mean, again, if you take this movie seriously, it's all terrible. But if you just what you're getting into, that it's just a dumb zombie movie. It's hilarious all the way through. Especially
it really is, man. And I know I was giving it a hard time earlier, but there were certainly spots
you always do.
I do. I'm a very harsh critic. What can I say? But they had a lot of parts that were just very fun to watch. I talked about liking the commercials earlier. The one where they're giving the zombie a bath, and then he's like, oh, and he's still got a sense of humor, and then he farts for 20 seconds, and it causes the wife to vomit almost because it's just such a rancid smell.
That's my favorite part.
That's so great. It's just hilarious because it's not really in the movie at any point. It's so dumb, but I loved it. It reminded me of it was like the Tropic Thunder trailer with Jack Black and his family that just farts a bunch, and I was like, this is so dumb, but I'm gonna be sophomoric and laugh my ass off because it's great. The ones where the zombie kids, and then the background music of the nursery score that was going on, and they're ripping him to shreds. I was laughing my ass off during that. The white guy they had playing the Mexican gangster, I guess. He was hilarious. He might have been my favorite character.
He's a rapper. He's an actual rapper in Philly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I need to.
He was great.
Hear that?
Is he a white Caucasian cholo with his rap career as well?
No, he's more the Juggalo type.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jenna, I'm gonna have to find you on Facebook after this. I gotta get a link. I'm sorry. I need to know this.
I gotta send all of you guys all of these people.
Oh, please do.
I mean, I wish you did already. I could just put it on here. Do you know his stage name?
Yeah, let me look it up real quick.
While you're looking that up, Johnny or Daniel, do you have any other scenes that stick out?
Yes, I do. I really, really love the. I don't know who exactly he is. The guy that lets him out of jail right in the beginning. The guy that lets Ken's character out of jail.
Part I fucking couldn't stand.
I'm gonna go ahead and do my best impression of the man because I don't know. I enjoyed it so much. Now I'm just a simple small-time peanut farmer. But I do believe that you will be here, a good zombie slayer.
Why is this guy talking with a southern accent? Just randomly. Why? I mean, this was not big.
He just so he actually wrote those lines himself. He was supposed to play the warden.
Oh, and the whole thing with the penis and the legumes and shit.
And he was like, "How do you like this?" And Len was like, "Yeah,
that was the most painful scene."
That was, yeah.
It was, yeah.
One of my
I remember when we were filming it, we were like, "Oh, this is gonna be so good. This is gonna be great." And then we saw it, and it's like,
popular guy around here, Jack. Peanut.
Oh my god!
My wife insists I quit smoking. So now I'm addicted.
I like the random drippings of water. That was really.
That was
loud.
way too fucking loud.
Gotta eat them peanuts.
Funny thing about the peanut.
The peanut man.
Not at all. It's actually considered a legume.
God,
a bean.
The first time I was like, ugh.
Yeah, there it is.
I was about to turn this off
nut.
right here.
Right in it.
Oh God.
Kind of misleading, don't you think?
Very much.
A peanut is neither a pea nor a nut.
are hardly the only misleading thing in this room.
No, it's a legume.
Are they?
What am I talking about?
Yeah, it turns out there's quite a bit more to you than is written in your file.
Yeah,
He has nothing to do with the whole rest of the movie.
No, except at the very end,
why he's there.
he sends him the postcard. At the end, he sends him a postcard. Daniel, he has.
Oh, yeah, I love that part too. Let's not talk about the end yet, because that's my conclusion for the movie.
Yeah. So like after the random nudity in the very front in the very beginning, it changes to that, and it's just like, what the fuck? And I was about to just turn it off, and then finally, he like after that 5-minute whole montage. Mm-hmm. He gives him the Snake Plissken thing, like, yeah, we're going to send you in this. You have to do it. It'll get you out of prison. Blah blah blah. And then then the movie started, and then the opening credits came in 15 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. The best part was I checked my time stamp and I thought it was going to be 30 minutes in, and when I paused the movie, and I think it was 55 minutes in, I thought it was an hour and 30. And I was just, what?
Damn.
How is there still so much movie left? And it's only been this much. How has it been so long? And yet so little.
I actually edited one of Len Kabaczynski's movies. Don't watch it. It's real. I mean, what I did with it is astounding. I'm not trying to brag, but goddamn, I like what the footage I got and what I created. I think that's my best work of art ever, but it's still so bad. And I would have to, and I had to sit through the movie that I had made, and it was painful, and it was only an hour and 10 minutes long.
Oh no!
Oh crap!
It feels like a 3-hour movie.
I like how you cleverly did not name this movie.
Blood Mercury. I love that name. Blood
Mercury.
Cool, yeah.
Sounds like a heavy metal band.
You'll never really understand what it is.
Does that have
There's no way it's brought up in the
or the element?
I don't think they say Blood Mercury once.
It's like Blood Diamond or Blood, whatever,
I just think of
Mercury.
Blood Ocean.
That's exactly what I was thinking of, Jenna. Thank you.
So the guy's name is Draco BZG. Draco, B is in boy, Z is in Zeta, and G is in guy. So that's the rapper.
Right. Oh, okay. What was the first word again?
Draco.
I wasn't paying attention. I had no. All right.
You're like, what are you talking about?
We're Blood Mercury. I don't know.
Blood Mercury.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm paying attention, Ian. Can you get with the program?
All right. But okay. So Jenna, what about you? What are some parts that you enjoyed about the movie?
It's kind of hard for me to say, just because, I'm biased, right? Like I was in it, I kind of saw behind the scenes. So, I mean, obviously my favorite part is just kind of the memories of meeting everyone and being in this film. But, I'd say if I were to just have been watching it, my favorite, I do, even though you could say the pacing kind of sucks, for one of these types of movies, I think has really good pacing.
Stuff happened. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan of bad movie genre. I've seen a lot of bad movies, and pacing is always a problem. There's always so many movies where it just starts really lagging, and the script is always bad. But I'd say with this movie, even though there's some scenes and it does feel long, and I would say in general, just the change of scenery, the pacing, the change of colors, at least keeps you in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'd say I mean, obviously there's a lot to pick on this movie about. The sound was the worst for me. I could not deal with the sound. Yeah.
The Foley was just absolutely, it was absolutely atrocious, man. Especially, you talk about the peanut scene and the dripping coming in the background. I felt like I was watching, I've mentioned this before, Ian. I always rag on Tenet, that new Chris Nolan movie. You can't hear 50% of the goddamn dialogue because the trains in the background, the music, the gunshots, a bird flying through the air and going caw is too loud, and you can't hear what they're saying. Like, at the very least, have subtitles. Yeah, man, that was on the fight scenes, the pow, bam, the points of impact for the kicks were off for the most part. It seemed like it was timed right. So I don't know if that was it one person editing, or was it a team of people, or I mean, there were probably a lot of different cuts.
It was one person editing, but he was brought on like kind of in the middle of everything. I mean, they had just kind of started shooting, so it wasn't that bad. But and that's Scott, and Scott was brought on like kind of like
I can't
like suddenly, and so he didn't really know what was going on, and he didn't. He just kind of went, okay, whatever you say, and then and then they were like, hey, do you want to edit this movie too? And he's like, sure. And then he's like, oh, it's a huge mess, isn't it?
I would hate to see what the original footage was by itself. So I'm sure he worked a masterpiece off what he could.
Yeah.
It just, I'm sure I can't imagine how incoherent it would have been before he touched it. Like in the initial filming.
And it would have been like 20 minutes long.
Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, baby. Now we're swinging. Now we're swinging for the fences.
All right. So how about I guess so. From the behind the scenes, like you said, some of your favorite parts are from behind the scenes. Do you have any stories for us? Anything that?
Oh yeah, I got tons.
What you got?
So I guess like I'll say that like about the script. This is kind of the M. Night Shyamalan twist I was teasing. This half of the movie was not in the script. I mean, it's probably not that big of a plot twist because it's kind of obvious, but half of the movie's wasn't in the script and wasn't originally even shot. And when Scott got all the footage, he realized like there's not enough. Like there's just not enough footage. So we had to just Len wrote a bunch of stuff, and that's why he's credited as well. At the very end, like the whole like all the commercials were his idea and Scott's idea, and all of the where I turn into the zombie and everyone turns into the zombie, that whole ending that was created by him. And,
that I was wondering.
Yeah. And the beginning too, where he's in the prison, that was him as well, with the peanut guy.
Okay.
It's a lot of padding that you just mentioned there.
Yeah.
Like 30, 40 minutes of padding on an hour, 10-minute movie.
Thank God I also made that title screen too.
Oh.
The opening credits.
Hey, that ate up 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
It was
whatever
good,
you
though.
got,
I
throw
liked
it in. So Scott was trying to make, like, he would watch something and he'd be like, how did these characters get here? Like, what's going on? Like, because he's just running around and shooting shit, and then like, oh, does that work? I don't know. We gotta go. Like, we only have this thing for a day, And so he was literally out in his woods, like on his bike, like shooting footage just to kind of like cut it together.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah. And like, and we didn't have any sound because he didn't know he was going to be shooting a movie. He just happened to have his camera equipment when we started filming. So with that forest scene, he didn't really have anything for sound. So we had to ADR everything. And then like some guy just came up. We were at this camp, and some guy just came up in this little cart, and he's like, "We're gonna be doing ADR." And I didn't even know what ADR was. I'm like, what's that? And it's like, oh, you just like talk over your lines. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I figured I was gonna see the footage and try to match it. But
Oh,
no,
they didn't do that?
nope.
What?
Nope. I had to like remember lines that I had said, which we changed a lot.
Oh, wow.
And then I just had to like say it.
And that,
Phenomenal.
okay, knowing that, this movie's better.
Yeah, yeah.
That could have been way worse.
Oh,
Like, I could just
yeah.
imagine that just, like, yeah, not matching your lips at all. And yeah, I couldn't tell. That was definitely way
relatively
better.
unnoticeable with all the other stuff going on.
Yeah, that was
exactly.
way better ADR than I've seen in a lot of movies of this caliber.
So, like, the sound, all in all, is pretty good compared to what it was, but you know, if we had to go back in time and wave a magic wand, the things we would have done.
So, Ian, I know that we've got a schedule, but I've really got to ask about this. There were some really, really disjointed scenes in this movie. I remember specifically when Logan and the often naked lady were running away after their first time after meeting the main character played by Ken. She kept falling down, and people appeared out of nowhere from before the start of the scene where they killed the big Mexican guy after meeting you. And there was just like all these disjointed scenes where nobody ever met the characters that were, even though everyone was standing in like this little close area, nobody ever actually met or saw each other in the same scene. Was that one of the results of this that you're this thing that you're talking? Okay.
Yes.
That actually explains a lot. Because I just saw those and I'm like, man, what is everyone filming in like 6 different counties? What is this? Like, why isn't anyone doing like, but they're not, no one's even shocked or like trying to react. They're just like, nope, that's the thing that happened. I have to run away from this place now. And like everyone just
finding ways to like introduce characters later on, and it just wasn't working really. And we were like, fuck it, I just show up, you know? Like, all right.
They were so disinterested in each other's deaths. That was the part, like, or Peril, like, nobody cared. Just nobody, like, we're gonna keep this character till later.
I'll give it to Justin, because Justin and I, he played. I forgot his character's name, but like that older guy, the scruffy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We kind of like bonded during the play, and we like riffed off each other a lot behind the scenes, which is like what I was mentioning behind the scenes. He's like, so how long have you known you were a lesbian? And then like I'd be like, how long have you known that you've been a lesbian? And like just stuff like that. So during my death scene, he was like, I'm going to get really worked up. You know what I mean? He's like, I really want to like cry during this scene because like, I'm just like I, you know, you and I bonded and like as characters, and I would be really upset about it. And like, I was like, damn, you're going to make me cry, man. Unfortunately, it wasn't, you know, it didn't come off as much, but his performance live was really good.
Yeah. Speaking of performance, your whole I brought it up at the beginning. You're like crazy-eyed thing. What was the idea behind? Like, why were you just your eyes were just like way too wide the entire time?
Oh, because of the Silence of the Lambs thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you said that. So that was it. So you were just
during
like,
my death scene. Like Day of the Dead is one of my favorite movies, and Joe Pilato is like one of my favorite people. And I was like, yes, I get to have a Joe Pilato like death scene, you know, because I feel like my character was kind of Joe Pilato-y from Day of the Dead, and I was like, yes, I get to do that. And I just really went, choke on him. I really wanted to say that, but
nice. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I just loved like your return your zombie return. It's just like, oh, you thought I was dead, motherfucker. And then you fight the guy that you were with and helping the entire time.
Yeah.
So there's like kind of a twist that was supposed to be interesting, but not really.
The fight scene was good though. I gotta give it to you guys.
Absolutely.
You know what you're doing with fighting. I don't know what Ken's background is, but his fighting scenes were also convincing. So
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
he was a fight choreographer and he did like stage fight choreography. So and
Yeah, you guys
that
did well
is
together.
for sure my favorite part of making these movies is just like the fight choreography. It's so much fun. That's why I keep coming back.
Yeah, because you had kind of a similar scene in that I forgot what it's called, that Chambers one or the
Oh
other
yeah,
one that we're talking about,
five gauntlets, yeah.
or Gauntlets, yeah, Chambers.
Yeah, where I'm a ninja.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, we're running a little low on time, so let's go ahead and get to the prompt section. So basically, when we were talking before we did this, I was texting all y'all and I said, if you could remake this movie or make a sequel to this movie or spin-off or anything, what would y'all do to this movie to, I guess, make it better or continue the story or anything? Like, I guess if there's a Swamp Zombies 3 or anything like that, or remake it, what would you do? If it's a remake, who would you have direct it? And I guess, Jenna, let's start with you.
Oh, okay. I would still have Len direct it because why not?
Okay.
Not maybe not though. I would want a Mr. Lobo movie.
Oh, okay. So it's spin-off. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I want like a spin-off Mr. Lobo, like with his character and like what he did to like get this TV show. Like, I kind of want his prequel.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. I was actually thinking same with you. I want more crazy as
Can you stop?
combat girl. It's specifically, I want to see a team up with you and this character from a movie you probably haven't seen, which is Lady Terminator. Have you seen Lady Terminator? I know, Johnny, you've seen it. Daniel, have you seen it?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I know of
Okay.
it. I
Hot
still
garbage.
haven't gotten around to seeing it though.
We will cover it in the
to.
show.
Do it, Jenna.
I might have you on that. So, Johnny and Daniel, you know who I mean by Snake.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, the amazing combat, like, he's just I don't know. Well, yeah, he's like a surfer dude, like Warzone combat guy. Who he's kind of like your character, but he's more like surfer dude. He's like, whoa, dude, and it's just like he's fighting Lady Terminator. He's like, yeah, eat it, you bitch. So I want to see him and you together in one movie where you're just like fighting off some sort of monster of some kind.
It's like a lot of
Zombies or,
intensity.
like,
That would be great.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you would like balance each other out because you'd be like the more like calm, collected one, and he'd be the more like outrageous, zany guy. So that's what I want to see. Johnny, how about you?
You know me, man. I really like it when movies that have kind of had the same formulaic approach going for years and years. I like it when they shake it up a little bit. So I would actually want to see a remake of Swamp Zombies 2, maybe a little different with the premise. But I would like, actually, oddly enough, I would like Ari Aster to direct it. The guy that did Hereditary and Midsommar. And you know
that would be amazing.
You know that I fucking hate Midsommar, and I thought Hereditary, the first 2/3 were awesome, and then the last portion just came out of fucking nowhere. But
yeah, I agree with you on that,
you know?
though. No one agrees with me with that, but yes.
Oh, hey, you're welcome on my podcast anytime, Jenny. You're good people.
Yeah,
you and I can shit on Ari Aster all the time.
Yeah, if you listen to you could just put on a random episode of I Don't Give a Flick, just any episode at complete random. You are guaranteed to hear him talk shit about one of those two movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
My kind of
I think that.
podcast.
Yeah, exactly right. I think Ari Aster actually, from the limited work that I've seen him put out, I think he does a good job with building universe, building worlds, and actually going off storyline and whatnot. I think for a zombie movie like this, most of them are, for the most part, they're all the same. You know, it's primarily it's the hero or that hero's group, and they're fighting the world of zombies or whatever. So I agree with you. I think the reality show idea is a good idea. I think it would be interesting if we kind of did an extension of Shaun of the Dead, where it's afterwards. It's like, remember how they talked about, they're like, oh, here are zombies in the world after we learned how to control the pandemic.
Yeah.
I would like to see this same thing. I would like Ari Aster to come and build a world, put some symbolic social references or issues at the forefront, which is not something zombie movies typically tend to do, and try to make a deep zombie film. I know that sounds really out there and not something that I usually go for. You know me, I hate artsy fartsy films, but I really think that it would be a great way to break the mold of what zombie films have become. And I really think a world after pandemic / being around some type of reality show where you have the entire world watching. I really think he'd actually be able to hit that out of the park. And I would love to see the lead actors. I would love to see Jason Statham in something like that. I think people actually...
Jason Statham as Pam would be good.
Like
that would certainly throw a curveball.
Like in a wig and all that, or
yeah, why not?
Yeah, man. I think
try to be real about it. Just do it. Just do it.
That'd be great, man. I think like a Jason Statham, Jennifer Lawrence kind of combo. You know, maybe an Alfred Molina as Mr. Sorry, what was the guy's name?
Lobo.
Lobo, Mr. Lobo kind of thing.
I can see that.
An action drama horror, and I don't know why, but when I saw the prompt, Ari Aster just popped into my head, and I was like, you know what? I think there's only a few directors that could actually make a meaningful zombie film, and I feel like this falls right into his wheelhouse. And it's so, I don't think he can't. He's the guy that always goes over the top and uses art for the sake of making art. But I think with a zombie film, it's so, I'm not going to say lowbrow or anything, but it's just so simple that I don't think he'd be able to fuck it up. I think it would be like
he'd have
the
to add some
medium
kind of
for him.
family trauma in it somehow.
Sure. Oh yeah, absolutely. But that would be my pitch. I think that'd be hilarious.
I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, he definitely lives rent free in your head.
Absolutely.
Okay. But yeah, that's an interesting pitch. Interesting. Daniel, how about you?
Well, I don't want to be highbrow at all. I would like to go as lowbrow as possible. And I was thinking Dateline NBC with Chris Hansen and having a final interview with Ken and his zombie nightmare that he left us with. Very Fido-esque. For anyone who's not familiar, Fido, the 2006 movie.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of Stephanopoulos in that movie. And I forget the name of his cheerleader zombie that he rescues to go do gross boob stuff with, that he totally has a weird, gross sexual fetish with. And I was thinking of a continuation of the whole pets idea, but with Chris Hansen going ahead and doing an intervention to stop the zombie molestation that Ken has started at the end of the movie with his gross boob washing car zombie.
Honestly, like that's a good continuation though.
I would love to watch especially considering the way that they filmed this, which was a reality TV show with commercials and things like this. They could take that same film style and turn it into a very special report with Chris Hansen and go ahead and do a full episode of the whatever NBC show it was he was on, Dateline, and all the different characters on it and everything, and do this thing, do an intervention.
You know who'd be good at directing one of these would be Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know how he is at doing like the gross expose sort of thing, though. I'm not sure about that. I haven't seen many of those
Death
movies.
Proof.
Yeah, but it just
well, not Death Proof,
the
but
film had
not Death Proof. The other one.
But yeah, the Grindhouse thing. Yeah, that would be kind of similar. I was also kind of thinking, not for your Daniel, not your particular idea, but I was kind of thinking Rob Zombie could probably do it.
Oh yeah.
You'd have some fun with that film.
Yeah. But anyway, go on.
I think you do good with the next version of it if you take Mr. Lobo's end of the movie with his big needle of whatever it is, and
see that's all over
whatever he's going to
Rob
inject it
Zombie
into.
right there.
Yeah. Okay, so he'll direct the movie that I pitched.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Daniel, is that it, or do you have more?
More or less, that's it. I would just love to see To Catch a Predator, but with a gross zombie predator, because I don't know what that twist was at the end there, but it got real weird real quick. I don't know. It was upsetting, to say the least. Like, even after watching that movie, it was still upsetting. It managed to get a new nerve, just like right on the wire there.
Interesting.
It's like, oh, that wasn't brought up in the whole rest of this whole movie that I just sat through. Now I'm upset for a different reason than the movie. And I just thought, like, where's Chris Henson to go ahead and fix this for me? He's supposed to be there for us as a people.
Rip Chris Hansen.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's go on to the next segment, which is actually we rate this movie. And on the show, the way we rate this is it's 1 out of 10 rating, but instead of stars, we'll just give it anything that just pops up in the movie. So for me, I really enjoyed it, although there were a lot of parts that definitely that just brought it down. It was enjoyable and really boring at the same time. So there are things I liked and things I didn't like. So I'll give it probably about 7 legumes. Johnny, how about you?
Oh God! What are we rating on this one? Production value?
No. It's just 1 rating.
Oh, just rating it in general as a whole. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay. God. Yeah. I mean, just based off everything I said, I did feel like a lot of what they had done. I feel like the not very much attention to detail in this film. I understand a lot of people were doing multiple roles. I get it. I've done indie films myself plenty of times, and I do feel like there was there were certain missed opportunities. A lot of inconsistencies with even just small things, location, wardrobe, all that. But it was still fun. Regardless of all that, I still did have a good time watching it. I would have liked to watch it with more, like maybe 2 or 3 other people so we could have made fun of it. I watched it by myself, so I don't think my experience was as enjoyable as it could have been. But I would say I'd probably give it I'd give it 2 Go-Go Park Rangers, which was something Mr. Lobo said when he's talking to Jack at one point. He's like, okay, confirming that. Go, Park Ranger. And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
all this
dialogue was just awful.
It was pretty goddamn weak. But
easy.
I thought,
what was I? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Lemon squeezy.
Something no adult has ever said in their life.
Yeah, I've heard that one before plenty of times, though. I'd say a 2 out of 10, though. Maybe a 2.5. You might be able to sway me, but it had redeeming.
That's our rating.
You hated it.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I mean, there were entertaining parts. I mentioned entertaining scenes. I didn't. It's not the worst one we've reviewed.
That's the rating that we have on IMDb. Oh,
really?
4.
Oh shit! I didn't know that. Okay,
it's 4 out of 10. All right,
great minds think alike.
I'm surprised it got 4. That's
high.
That's
because
pretty high.
The cast because the cast gave it 5 stars. Or 10
oh
stars.
yeah, there you go. Daniel, how about you? What do you rate it?
Well, I can't really rate it out of 10. I really got to rate it out of 100 because I need a percentage for it. And I just got to ask, how many percents do we have in our plan, ladies? And I got to go with 50%. 50%. You've only got 50% going on in this. I would say it's half good, half bad. It could not engage my wife. She just had to tune out. She couldn't put up with it. Which to me lets me know that it's not for everyone. I found some redeeming values in it, but I still hated it in very significant portions. I found some fun in a number of portions, but just not enough to give it above a 50. I'd say it's very solid because I would probably watch it again with friends and would never watch it again by myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
100%
fair.
agree.
Yeah. First time I watched it, Jenna, you told me you were in it, so I was like, okay, well, I gotta see it. And then I was actually like texting you the entire time.
Yeah.
And
You're like, oh, this legume guy's got to go away now.
yeah.
That was only 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And he was already mad.
Yeah. And so when after it, I didn't really remember. I thought I remembered the movie, but when I rewatched it for this episode, it was like all new to me because I was not paying attention the first time. I was like, "Oh wow, this is a TV show."
Not good.
Like they're showing a reality show. I didn't even realize that the first time.
Right?
I was just not paying attention. But all right, so Jenna, as the new member, well, Johnny's a new member of this show too, but it's basically the same as my old one. But Jenna, this is your first time on any of my shows, so how do you rate it? Since you were in it and you took part of it, how do you rate it? I'll give you 2 ratings. How do you rate it as somebody who took part in it and your experience with it, and how do you rate it as just somebody who watched the movie?
Well, I mean, as someone who took part in it, 10 out of 10 for sure. I had just moved to Philadelphia and I did not know anyone. And so I met so many of my friends who were, obviously now my friends on that set, and now I'm in movies now. They're not the best movies, they're not the most high budget movies, but they're fun. And I've met a lot of people through those movies as well. So some of my best friends I've met through these movies. So I'd have to give it 10 out of 10 for that. But it's so I did obviously I had a family reunion and my whole family wanted to watch it. And I was actually really surprised how much they loved it. They were laughing. I mean, because I'm also in it. So they're like, oh, there she is. They were laughing and screaming. And I remember there was this bad CGI where something, the tower or the place blew up and they were like, oh, that's so fucking bad. Oh my God. They loved it. They loved how bad it was. And, they're not, I love bad movies, but they're usually not those types. So I'm glad that they had a lot of fun. So, I would give it, I'm mean, you know what? 4 out of 10, just like
IMDb.
Yeah, if you like bad movies, though. If you don't, then it's going to be a 0.2 out of 10. But you kind of have to like that genre.
Yeah.
If
no,
you
absolutely.
don't, then no.
No, I know a lot of people that would just absolutely hate this movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Same.
But 4 out of 10, what? What are you rating?
Oh yeah, 4 out of 10 comically large needles.
Nice. All right, cool. Well, that will conclude this episode of Cult and Trash Horror Movie Grind for Swamp Zombies 2. And if you haven't seen it yet, you can check it out for free on Tubi. And be sure to check out Johnny's podcast, I Don't Give a Flick. Definitely, it's a good show. Not only as somebody who's been in a bunch of episodes, but I say that as a fan as well. I've listened to a bunch of his episodes. If you're into film and the process of film and different genres, we also like rate movies. We talk a lot about like Tarantino and Scorsese and stuff like that, and it's good stuff. So yeah, check out Johnny's podcast. I don't give a flick.
Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for joining. Jenna, do you
Absolutely.
have anything else going on? You said that you are in another one of his movies.
Yeah, we're currently shooting Pact of Vengeance, which I mentioned, and it's about vengeance. Let's just leave it at that. So that's the thing in the plot.
Do you have any idea of the release date or any? Just
we don't really have a release date yet. The last filming that we're doing is the end of October. So I'm gonna assume the turnaround's pretty quick. So I'd say like probably 5 months later we'll probably have the film.
Oh, okay.
The whole film. And it has. This is definitely the highest budget all crowdfunded that he's done. He got if anyone's into wrestling, I know that there's a lot of people into wrestling. AEW's Diamante and Pretty Peter Avalon are in it. And John Michael Thor from Rock and Roll Nightmares in it as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so so I was like, oh yes, I'm gonna be technically and Leo Fong from Low Blow, he's gonna be in that too. I'm gonna be meeting him soon.
Cool. Nice. So this will be one to look forward to.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that. I'm into it.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Cool. All right. Anything else you got going on that you want to plug? Jenna?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said someone else's name. I'm just like no, that's it. I mean, you can like follow me on Instagram or Twitter or something, but I don't. Maybe not Twitter.
That?
Don't follow me.
I mean, if you want, you can. It's cool. I don't care. I don't need your support.
Legitimately, don't do that.
What is your Instagram?
Zombie Futon. Say, I just really love Zombie Futon. Futon.
All right, here. I'll follow you right here, and you follow me back, and we'll get the ball rolling. There we go.
All right,
it's coming up, folks.
It's already started. Okay, cool. Well, yeah. So that's the end of this episode. Thanks to all of y'all for joining, and yeah, real quick, let me just give a sneak peek to the next week's movie, and I've got.
What could it be?
How
long do I have to hold that face for?
Right here. Sorry for the delay.
No, it's good. I can hold the face for a while.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. That is Psycho Gorman.
Hell yeah.
That's the best.
I cannot wait to watch this.
Yeah,
so good.
Johnny will be on.
I'll be on next day.
As a huge war fan, I've got to tell you, this is the movie. This is my favorite newest movie that has been made.
I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Oh, so good.
It's actually rated PG. It's the most R-rated PG movie.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
PG.
Oh, the obliteration. There's no way this is fucking PG.
That's not PG.
No, I'm pretty sure it is actually.
What? Get the that's not even PG-13. That's fucking great. I can't wait.
Yeah.
So they don't drop any F-bombs.
Physical effects before.
No. They do, but they don't say fuck.
Fuck CGI.
They don't say fuck. They say frick, and they say it a lot. Frick every time.
Amazing.
It's always by a little girl. So yeah.
The P is for physical. The G is for gore.
That would be or Psycho Gorman.
Physical gore.
Yeah, so that'll be Psycho Gorman. So tune in next week. And once again, thank you all for joining. Thanks everybody for watching. And yeah, take it easy, everybody.